Okay, my name is Blake Moore. I'm on Team Cobalt Acolyte, and I'm going to be going over my JIRA tasks that I worked on for our game Varger for this sprint. I'm going to be pausing the recording and restarting it back whenever I get to my different tasks. So let me pause it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, so for the first task I'm going to go over make enemies give more indication before an attack. The enemies weren't really doing their damage along with their animations that well. So I took that task and I did for the wolf, the bear, and the mountain lion. So first off I'll do the bear. So it'll show the animation happens and then the attack comes. So it's better for it's easier for the player to see those attacks coming. You gotta know how to take damage. Alright. The next one that I'm going to showcase is right here. So, let me get to here. One of the main things that I did was a collectible system. The overview is create a hidden collectible for the player to look for. It'll have a physical form that the player can grab. It gives feedback to the player. It gives off a sound so the player can tell where it's coming from, so they can find them. And there's going to be a locked cave that you have to use the collectibles to open. So one of the tasks, it gives audio feedback, and you can hear it as you get closer to it. Also, implement the art that's inside the cave. The logic carries back and forth between levels, and so each level has its own collectible. It'll track those as you go between the levels. Each collectible is tracked independently, and so it tracks for the cave the specific one instead of just get a certain amount. Each individual collectible has its own ID, and then the secret cave gets a hint. I'll show that in a second. So I'll go ahead and collect that, and I'm going to come over here and show one more task really quick. Let me switch over to it. We had fix where enemy health bars are staying too long after death. The health bars weren't going away on death from the enemies, they were just floating there. And so now, whenever the enemy dies, the health bars immediately go away. Let me go on into the den. Right here is our hub area of the den. You can see this is the cave that I made for the collectibles. You can see whenever I offer the collectible that I got from the first level, that icon over there gets replaced by it. It's going to save that there, and anytime I come back here it's going to be tracked there. For the secret cave gives a hint to what level the collectible is missing in. Each of these symbols, as you unlock the level, it will give a symbol next to the level to kind of show you that, hey, you're missing a collectible from this level. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and get to the next task. Okay, so the next task, make enemies react to being hit by a torch. It pretty much gives the same effect as if they were to get hit by the fire howl. So if I take a torch and throw it at an enemy, it now will react to being hit by fire and take damage, just like as if they were hit by the fire howl. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to pause. Okay, so back to the collectibles. Collectible number 2 is here. And I'll go ahead and run down really quick to my next task. Okay, for this task, I wanted to make the Hunter Tower react to being hit by a beehive like everything else. It on its own would not react to the beehive originally. So see, it will now take damage just like anything else, and the same effect as if being hit by the gun. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay, collectible number 3 is right here. Okay, back to the enemies giving more feedback, the mountain lion giving more feedback. So, it comes after that double swipe. The player takes that damage. You can see 2 individual slashes from the mountain lion, and it deals that damage. Alright, going to get to the next collectible. Okay, collectible number 4 is over on that left path after you do these obstacles. So, got that. So we got collectible 4. Okay, going back to the feedback. The wolf enemies will give their feedback also. So you notice this wolf right here swipes and then causes damage. Attack and causes damage. Okay. I'm gonna pause until I get to the next task. Okay, I'm back over at the den, and just to show it has saved that slot right there. I got all my levels open up now. I'm gonna offer the ones that I have, so I have 1 through 4, and so that just shows me I need that one, and it's through here. So I'm gonna pause until I get over to it. Okay, and the last collectible is up on this hill after all these little jump puzzles right here. So we'll collect that. And I'll just go ahead and just return straight back to the den. Okay, so get into my tasks. The hidden cave, hidden collectibles. So I showed where all the collectibles were placed. I gave audio feedback, and then create a secret cave that opens after collecting all of the collectibles. So it opens up into here. And then from there, implement art assets. So they're implemented hieroglyphic cave painting things, and gave some little flavor text, just kind of give a little story. Just as a little extra thing for the player that went and got all the collectibles. The logic carries between each level. Each collectible is tracked independently, and the secret cave gives a hint to where. And then going over the other ones that I went over, so it makes the enemies react to being hit by a torch, the beehive reacts to the hunter tower. The enemies give off more feedback before they hit, and fix the enemy health bars. And yeah, so here's the secret cave that the player can access and explore and read the little things to kind of just get a little insight into the wolf. But my name's Blake, Blake Moore, and thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Kaiholtz, and this is my sprint review for our project Varger. First task I'm going to show you is was adding blockers in front of the tree line to levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. I got level 1 and 2 completed on this, and that was just to, originally it was going to be removing the collision off the trees and putting the blockers up, but I left the collision on the trees because they aren't actually affecting the gameplay as far as performance. And this level was actually not really needing the collision or the blockers due to the fact that there's no enemies besides the player not having the ability to go in the woods, which is, there was blockers in there just a little bit further in the tree line. Alright, so while I'm in level 1, I want to go and show you another set of objectives tasks I had, which was adding objectives to the levels that did not have them, and level 1 was one of those levels. For this, I have a pretty easy objective, that pops up right here after you get across the wall run. Once you pop across, something shows up that tells you to notice the text at the top of the screen, and the task is to find the den on the other side of the mountain. Here's the den on the other side of the mountain. apologize, I have to pause it and get through some of the gameplay to save me some time. I got other tasks to go through, but once you get to the end here, into the den, the task will disappear at the top, and you'll get to the end of the level. So for level 2, all I had really for this one was adding collision in front of the tree lines. This level, it really mattered mainly because I have rabbit and deer enemy as an objective to kill, and it can be a pain if they run into the wood line. So I moved the blockers out in front of the tree. I did not remove the collision off the tree foliage because there's, again, no need. It wasn't affecting performance. But mainly so they can't go deep in the woods if you try to kill the rabbit, and they won't go in there so that they don't make it hard and extend the time to kill them. So those blockers are in place along with the other area where the deer are, and that was pretty much the main task for level 2. So next one I will show you. This one was for adding sound effects to assets that do not have anything on them, and that was the pretty much the totem and the rabbit prey, the deer prey, and I will show you that. So, and the campfire. So the campfire, I have it to where when the player gets closer, you can hear the flame sounds. And then also when you get closer to like the waterfall area, even though it doesn't really matter, I just wanted to put that in so you can hear the waterfall in the background. Alright, to show the other sound effects that I added to the rabbit, I added some to the deer. Let me show you those real fast. So whenever you hit the rabbit now, makes a little screeching sound. When you hit the deer, it makes this little noise until you kill it. Okay, so I also added objectives to level 3. For this, I started the level off with kill the bears, which was, one of the ones I thought of in the beginning, which is basically just going in the level blueprint. Some of them I have by triggering off with volumes. Honestly, wasn't super happy with the objective system. On some of it, it was causing some issues at the end. I put a quick fix on it, but it's not without its issues in some areas. So there's a better way to do it. I just didn't like how my objectives turned out in the other levels besides level 2. So for this one's kill 3 bears. Once you kill 3 bears, it removes blockers in the 3 paths, which is 2 tree walls, 1 block in there, 1 block in there. Once you burn the bush, you can get through. The blocker is there just to keep the player from burning the bush and running through. So once that's done, it'll pop up a new one saying light the campfires. The player gets the sticks, run around and light the campfires. You'll see that it registers them. And I'll do campfires real quick to show you. Hold on. So once you light the 3 campfires, go over here, you'll burn this bush. This will pop up the objective to kill the polar bear. Once you kill this polar bear, here, it will basically we will get rid of that objective. It's completed, and then now you'll have killed the final boss objective. And then once you kill this final boss, we will go to the level exit where I have a volume that gets rid of the objective once it recognizes the boss is dead. For level 4, I'm going to show you a few tasks. I added objectives to this level as well. I'll go ahead and show you the death animations for the character and the mountain lion and the wolf enemy. Alright, so when the player leaves the den, it will pop up a objective, tells them to pick either the left, middle, or right path. We'll go ahead and pick this path. I'll show you the death animation for the cougar. That was just adding a death animation onto the cougar itself. I'll show you that task here in a second. So when the player gets up here, you'll get a task or objective that tells you to make it to the top of the path without dying. So really quickly, while I'm in front of one of them, I wanted to show you that we had a totem called damage totem. We ended up not using any enhanced damage totem, so I changed it to a shielding totem. This was just something that would protect the player for a certain amount of time. That's this totem here. Also, wanted to show you that the sound effects was for the totem as well. I believe it's down here. It was Find it right here. So, playing sound effects on the totems. So, I'll show you that. When you get it, you get a shield, plays a sound effect. Once the player gets up to the top of the path after clearing it, it just gives you another last objective that's coming from the middle, left, or right path here. It'll give you continue to the top of the path. And then you get up here, and the last objective of the level is to kill the final boss. And I'm going to speed up the gameplay because I'm running out of time. So you can see once we kill the final boss here, and I had to put, again, this is the level with issues. So originally it was disappearing, but because of the way I put it in there, I had to redo it. So that was one of the errors I had on the level objectives was there at the end that I didn't have time to correct. So I'm going to show you the death animations that I put on the characters really fast as quickly as I can, but it was just adding death animations onto the characters. So let's check it out. The first one was the rabbit. This is one shot it, but once it dies, it animates. Next one I'll show you is the deer. Once it dies, it animates. Okay, so this is the player character's death animation. Now I'll show you the bear's death animation. And then here is the wolf enemy death animation. Alright. Alright, so one of my last biggest task was how we had rage mode working on the player. This was kind of a last ad that I was requested by the other teammates, which was basically having a way for rage mode to reset without just being by input. So initially I wanted it to tick down after it got full. After so many seconds it would start ticking down, but instead we did it clears after 15 seconds. So let me show you that real fast. So basically when the player has rage mode, there's a timer set on it. After so many seconds it'll reset to 0 rage. This just kind of keeps it from where you can kind of cheese it with rage mode the entire time. Before that, you could just use Rage Mode Unlimited. And my very last task was just changing out some last grid mesh materials, which was on the water material here and the waterfall. So that was it. Thanks for joining me. Those were all the tasks that I got completed this sprint.
Hello, I'm Sean Ramsey, artist in Cobalt Acolyte. This was my showcase video for the Trick Hero. I'm not going to waste time, just go ahead and get started. The first ones I'm going to show off. Tab. Okay, cool. The first ones to show off will be the level 1 pass. We got I'm going to name them now and then I'll just go through because back and forth be difficult. So, the left path 4011, the first center path, second center path, and then the right, I think. There's no level. So yeah, basically the puzzles in level 1. So it'd be 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and get started. I might also do the checkpoint. I'll probably show that as well. I can do that at any level. So if I pass a checkpoint and I have a way to die, I'll just show that off as well, just to mention it early on. So that's wow. That was weird. Okay, anyway, continue. First one is here. Obviously, because it's the beginning level, you don't necessarily need it, but the height was adjusted. hit a checkpoint. So if I do again, probably just die here and I'll show that off. So the first center path, this will be the second center path. Respawn and we respawn back at the checkpoint. So checkpoint works. This is the second center path on level 1. Jump is proper. This one we made a little more difficult, but still, oops, it's more of an angle thing than a height thing now. So that's the second one. Just going to grab this while we're here. And we'll make our way over here. This is the right paths. Oops. I'm just going to grab that. And then we'll come over here. This will be the right side for level 1. Oops. Again, I'm not the best at this, but which is surprising considering I'm one who helped make some of these. Same thing. So which I just jumped off of. But you get the point. There, it does reach all of them. I'm just very bad at my wall runs. But we'll go ahead and continue over to level 4 to show the next stuff off. Okay, so we're back. We made level 4. And we're going to talk about a few things. Starting off with the birds, he's right in front of us. Dang it, wrong button. Some of the birds, as you can see it there. The attack distance and attack speed, we changed some stuff around with that. With attack in general. Let's talk about the puzzles, got the left, right. And then the puzzles that kind of go along with them, so to speak. Starting with the bird attack distance was low, not lower, sorry, was increased. Attacking from a further distance now. Well, we can see from further distance, but it gets close before it attacks you. So you see it locks onto now. When I get closer, it starts to attack. Picking up the damage, it dropped down from 20, 25 down to 15. Made the projectiles bigger as well, and to compensate for that, it's a slower projectile overall. So it makes it easier to kind of dodge, to make up for the size of it, so to speak. So that way, if you're running away, you still don't straight up get hit. Okay. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So we just take his health. Okay, so we'll go ahead and talk about the puzzles a bit. We know the bird for now, since we're kind of low on time, or limited on time. And I missed. That's unfortunate. I ran away, so we'll just do with you. Anyways, this first part of the puzzle is pretty much the same. I can get up the hill. Okay, let me just run up there. As usual, if you run all the way, you'll run out of time before the flame runs out. So you gotta kind of run. Then you gotta throw it a little bit early, but obviously making the game, I know some strats. We'll kind of do a quick dash close to the ground. Anyway, puzzle here we made it a bit more difficult. It's a bit more precise now because we raised up the platform. The platform has to be raised to compensate with the new wall changes and the jump changes. That one should hit. Here we go. Thank goodness. Sometimes that takes like 26 tries. But yeah, again, you need to line it up, but I've done it so much that I kind of just know. You can see there, that was right next to it, but it missed. But anyway, well, the wall run works. You make it here properly, you can jump over. So that part of wall run works. And rather than trying to get all the way back, we'll reset again. I'm doing that. Try one more time. If not, we're just gonna keep going again. We're having time to just do it. I'm not very good at the wall runs in general. You can get up here now. What the heck? That's changed. Yeah, up here. Whatever. I can't you jump, you land on the rocks. You make to compensate for the lack of the second jump. You put a platform there. You can land on it. Uh, if we had more time for the presentation, I'll probably do a bit more. Probably shut off at another time, but for now, we'll just keep going. Okay, take you out. Uh, don't die yet. Don't die. Don't die yet. Okay. As you can see, you can't just run up here and get through anymore. But he died. That timing was hilariously comedic. That was funny. As soon as he died, it popped open. As you see, I was trying to show you can't just get through. But it looked like I hit and opened the wall up. I did not, I promise. But yeah, once they both die, there's two blockers actually. When they both die, they come down. So that's showing off those two, and then lastly, we'll go to the full 5 wall run. Okay, pause. Please be recording. I'm recording. Good to know. Alright, so this is the wall run level 5. Last one I need to show off. Make this quick. They were a bit adjusted. There was another one here, but that one's for someone else. They'll probably go over. But we've adjusted. Please don't kill me. This one make it a little bit easier. Oh, jeez. Please just cooperate. We actually made this a little bit lower compared to before, but sometimes if you go at the wrong angle, you will jump on top of it, which I guess makes you literally doing a wall run. But yeah, this one, because it's a life level, it's more difficult. Smaller puzzle, you're not supposed to jump on top of it because you can get knocked off and die, but you can always time it and you can run across. So the height is better. You can use these to progress across. So yeah, those are my level. Those are all my tasks from Jira. I did complete all of them. Went over the Phoenix, the checkpoint, all of the puzzles in level 4, or it's all the transport ones. The ones from level 1, we show off the attack for the bird, the speed, and the puzzle in level 5. That's everything. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you next video if we have one.
Hello, my name is Matthew Salazar, and this is my sprint review. One of the first tasks I've done was to add platforming onto the right side of the level. I had changed it from originally from a mountain path to a platforming path. I had reworked the mountain to have 3 gaps in between it. I added 3 platforms for the first jump platforms. Add 5 towards the end. Made sure that the platform that connects to the very first one is a wall run, and added ramps just in case the player had failed and has to go back up. So coming up here will lead you up to the platform. They're broken down into 3. You had to connect by jumping on this first wall run. The first one is broken down into these two right here. This would bring you to the middle area where this is broken down into 5. Also within this area, I had to add enemies and prey. Of course, we have the birds down there. If we fail, there are a few wild animals. There's a mountain lion, deer. There's a bear in the middle. Another task I had did was to ensure that there were shield totems that were brought onto the boss area, as well as rock piles for them players to pick up, fire so they can use for the enemy, and beehives so they could pick up as well. I had another small task of adding an objective to the level. This is, you would have to defeat the boss in order for the wall to break in order to beat the game. Also, there was a bug that I would have had to fix that caused the wall run to flip-flop between running on the ground versus on the wall. So after you defeat it, open here, up here, you enter, you would win, you would return to the den.
Hello everyone, my name is Adrian Gonzalez, and this is my section of our sprint review for Project and Portfolio 6. To start off, I will be going over the Jira tasks that I had for this sprint. So my first task was to create a trophy room menu that would update and show special images and text when you defeated bosses in the game. This included 6 sub-tasks, which were create a new menu screen, add a variable to the player for each boss, make variables flip on player when bosses are killed, have boss names appear on menu when they are defeated, have boss sprite/art appear on menu when defeated, and create a flavor text for each boss that is being tracked. Here is each boss being defeated and the screen after each one. Here is the Secret Bear boss. This is the achievements menu before the Secret Bear boss. This is the achievements menu after the Secret Bear boss is dead. The Hunter boss. This is the achievements menu before the Hunter boss. This is the achievements menu after the Hunter boss. The Polar Bear boss. Achievement menu before Polar Bear. Achievement menu after Polar Bear. Big Bear boss. Achievements menu before the Big Bear boss. Achievement menu after the Big Bear boss. The Duo boss. This is the achievements menu before the Duo boss. This is the achievements after the duo boss, and finally the wolf boss. This is the achievements menu before the wolf boss, and this is the achievements menu after the wolf boss. As you can see, each one has its own name, image, and text that appears when you defeat them. In order to do this, I had to make variables on all the boss enemies and the player that would flip to true or false when they were killed, and have the UI check the player for those variables. If the UI sensed they were true, it displayed the pictures, text, and name. My next main task was to implement the new art assets that we were getting from the artist. This included 4 subtasks, one for each of the new assets that were made by the artists. These were Hunter Stand, Torch, Campfire, and the Totems. I will now show you each of these new assets. So here's the Hunter Stand, the Torch, the Campfire, and finally the Totem. Here's the Health Totem. This is the Fire Totem. This is the Ice Totem. This is the Lightning Totem. There are also a few extra meshes that we got that I implemented that didn't have tasks attached to them. I'll quickly show you those now. So here's the Beehive, Tent, Breakable Wall, Running Wall, Rock Pile, and the Rock Projectile. Thanks to the artists, implementing the art assets was very easy, and all I really had to do was change the static meshes we were using, as well as the materials. I did have to set up the materials as well, but that wasn't that difficult. My next main task was to fix a bug where music continued playing after you died and in the pause menu. This also had subtasks. It only was 3 this time. Those tasks were add variable to player, stating boss music is playing, and an event on enemies that changes variable to true. I also had to add an event that changed the variable to false when the player dies, so that the music would stop playing. So here I'll show you what happens when you pause during a boss fight. So when you're near the boss and it's playing the boss music, you can then pause, boss music stops, and when you die during the fight. So the boss music is playing. If I kill myself here, boss music stops, I continue from last save, and it's still not playing until I get over here again. As you can hear, the boss music stops in both scenarios. This bug wasn't game breaking, but it was very annoying to have the boss music continue playing when you weren't in the boss fight, or when you were in the pause menu, which already has music attached to it. It would have 2 different tracks playing at once. My last task was to create a new wall that would only break when the boss in an area was killed. This was to stop an issue that we were having, which was caused by us using the same walls that were breakable by rocks. This made it possible for players to skip entire bosses by just taking a rock into the boss area and breaking the wall behind them. This task also had 3 subtasks, which were to add event to break walls on boss kill, replace references to old wall BP in all blueprints and an editor, and finally to create a trigger in enemies to break the right wall when they are killed. I'll demonstrate this with the bosses in the last 3 levels. This is when the polar bear is killed. This is for the big bear boss. And here is the duo boss. And finally, the wolf boss. Those were all my tasks that I completed during this sprint. It was a number of 20. And with that, we are Team Cobalt Acolyte. Thank you for watching our sprint review video.